banger.
Keep on moving now.
Yeah.
Keep on moving now.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Everybody know the game don't stop. Try to make it to the top for your ass get popped now. If you a rider, yeah. Oh, yes, a soul survivor. Yeah. That's a bang. But talk about a hook.
Timeless.
Timeless,
talk
bro.
about timeless, bro. You play that shit now, everyone's just stank face, just like, oh, jeez.
Cause everybody
Disgusting.
know that game don't stop. It never stops.
I'm a soul survivor.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time.
Shit, we can make this a GC episode. I'm
Yeah.
down.
Welcome. That shit just bangs, bro. Akon was making some hits back in the day, bro. That song and locked up, won't let me out. Locked up. Think about that shit and work. Won't let me out.
It's a relatable feeling. Akon also had that.
He had a lot of songs.
Yeah.
Whole bunch.
Yeah, so many.
At least a half dozen.
The two songs I was thinking of was there's a trending
Hits.
audio right now.
Absolute hits.
Akon? Yeah, there's a trending audio on like
a
Instagram.
vocal or instrumental?
It's like a
song.
The Instagram will be. It's only like 10 seconds, and it's like sad, and then the beat like drops, and then it's like a happy thing happening. I could like find it for you. But the other one that I think about is Mr. Lonely. What's that song called?
Yeah.
I am so lonely.
I think it's just Lonely. It's either Lonely or Mr. Lonely, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that song was a hit, dude.
Hit.
Like
I didn't like it when it first came out. I thought it was
either,
stupid.
but it was still a hit.
I was young. I was a young buck.
No, I was with you. I was the same age as you, and I thought that song was kind of dumb when I was a kid. But
It sounds silly.
yeah, what are we doing? Crying here?
That or like not even just like the actual sound of it, like the voice,
Is it like Alvin and
the
Chipmunks
song.
almost?
Yeah, it was like a super high pitched kind of very different vocal sample that was used. I was like, this is strange. I don't even know. In our early teens, whenever that was. God, when did that song come out?
I think it was like 8 or 9.
Like 20 years ago, maybe? 20
Yeah.
plus?
That would have been like 2000,
2004, 2005?
somewhere right there.
I don't even know.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably 2004.
Somewhere in that.
All right, here we go. We're looking. We're
There
looking
we
it
go.
up. Let's go.
That man was making hits, though.
Facts. I'll just type in fucking Akon top hits.
I
bro.
didn't like that song when it first came out, whenever it did. We're going to find that out right now. But I did come around to it like when I was in college. Very weirdly, oddly
no.
enough, like my sophomore year, maybe freshman year of college. I was like listening to it. I don't even know how or when it got into my algorithm, but I just remember listening to it a lot at one point in college.
Really?
It was like going from listening to it not at all ever to, I guess maybe it was partially because of my roommate Ryan. He's definitely been a big musical influence. He put me on to Childish Gambino, put me on to Big Sean, good music, the label with Kid Cudi, Kanye West back in the day. And then he also was a big Akon fan. So that may have spurred some of it too. But either way, I went from never listening to that song to listening to it like literally probably 10 times a day. At least.
10 times.
Walking
Jeez,
around
man.
on campus, you know what I'm saying, doing homework.
2003.
2003. 21 years ago? 21.
12. Man.
Yeah. That's wild. You're like 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like singing about, well, yeah, the album. I didn't be like, I am so lonely. I have nobody. Who wants to say that shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, soul survival. Yeah. That's what I wanted to sing. But
To the wire. I guess that's kind of a similar sample, but it's still different, right?
yeah, that was the first hip hop song I ever heard that like fucked me up. Because I hadn't really like, I think I'd heard some Jay-Z. And I think I'd heard like some of the Black album. That shit was super hard though. But then I just heard
Yeah.
that right down through the wire sample on a Grammy CD. Like, that's what I call hits, Grammy edition. Through the wire played.
That's kind of a similar sample, or kind of a similar vocal range, but it's definitely different. It's Through the Wire and Mr. Lonely, or Lonely, whatever.
It's just different because it's the lady singing it, I think. It sounds like a sample, but I think the other one sounds like a hook. I was like, what's this? I didn't know what a sample was. I was like, this lady's singing's blowing my mind. And then Kanye comes in with the hip hop, and I was just like, oh my God.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah, and I remember thinking specifically, I was
That
like,
shit hits.
there's instruments playing, but it's not like a guitar and drums. I'm like, these instruments are crazy. Like the 808s and shit, you know what I'm saying? It was like blowing my mind.
The drums and the, what is like the horns? I don't even know what else is in that song.
To the window,
songs.
You know what I'm saying?
And some strings, drums, vocal sample. Either
Crazy,
way,
bro.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Beautiful song. But Akon, shout out. 21 years ago, golly, time flies.
Shit fucked me up, bro.
Yo. Love it.
Now
It's
we're
going
here.
quick. Yeah, now we're here. It's 2024. We're 4 years past COVID. I grab a bottle of wine and it says 2018, or like 2019. I'm like, that's like yesterday. You know, it's like right over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like within arm's reach this way.
Yeah.
As far as time. But then I was
Okay.
like, oh no, it's not. That's like 6 years ago, 7 or 5 years ago. Pre-COVID, 2019. No, it's 2024. We're already moving through March. Almost the first quarter's coming to an end. Already. It's going quick. March Madness is going down. It's crazy. I was thinking about, because we went to Chili's and I saw March Madness playing on the TV, and then I just remembered it just made me think about 2020. I was like, oh man, like they didn't do it that year because that was St. Patrick's Day, and then it was like canceled everything.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, I forgot. Like we didn't do the Olympics that year. I think it was supposed to be World Cup year, or no, I think World Cup's a different 2-year interval, but the Olympics for sure. And March Madness. I was like, oh, those poor seniors. That sucks. Missing out.
March
It
Madness.
seems like
is
it was
awesome.
yesterday.
It does seem like it's yesterday. It's getting to that point too where do you ever like forget we're in 2024 just like on accident? Yeah, I'm like, wait,
It's
hold
like,
on, what
oh,
year are
shit.
we in? So that goes on. And then whenever I see a bottle that's like 2005, I'm like, wait, hold on, how old is this? Or maybe it was 2015. 2015 I think is what I saw, and I was like, 9 years ago? What the fuck? This is almost a decade old in my hand.
That slaps you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that hit me. That's hit me a couple times. Every time I was like, man, it seems like 2021 was just like so close. It was so close, but it was like 3 years ago. I was like, oh
Right.
shit. It's like almost a whole high school, like a fucking college education. Like,
Yeah. That's what I think too.
it's like,
Anytime-
damn, that shit goes by quick.
Anytime someone says they did 4 years doing something, I'm like, you could have been in and out of school in that time.
4 years, that's all it takes.
It's a freaking. It's forever when you're in college. That's the thing that's crazy, right?
When you're in high school.
Yeah, being like freshman to senior is like forever. But then, yeah, I'm at this point where, like, yeah, being 30 or almost 30, I think the perspective shifts a little bit. You're like, 4 years is nothing, kid. You gotta use those 4 year chunks well. Like,
Yeah, life is moving quick. You definitely, yeah, your interpretation of it.
you know,
Your I guess your scope of time, you know?
yeah.
What you think about it, how it feels to you, how a year feels, how a month feels. Different. It's different now.
It's different. I don't always want to be telling people. Sometimes I really want to tell everybody, like, as you get older, life gets like more cool, but it's hard to explain. But then I'm like, is that true? Or like, am I just? I don't know for sure for everybody that, like, I
You said
want.
cooler?
Yeah, like maturation is dope.
More.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Okay.
becoming an Yeho is lit
Yeah.
because yeah, my perspective just like is broader and different than it used to be, and then I'm able to like digest new experiences from my old experiences because I understand life better. And then I'm like, it's so rich. I'm like, you get to the center of the cake, and then there's like richer chocolate down there. It's like
There's a
it's
whole nother
cool.
cake in there.
yeah, there is like you're because it's all your life, but like the person perceiving the life becomes like more aware and more enlightened and more like
Mm-hmm.
attentive to detail, I guess. And
Mhm.
then like as you're a kid, I feel like you can't really like you have to have like these very like immature presuppositions to get you to being an adult. And then once you've like upgraded your presuppositions and then you like redigest life, it's just like kind of trippy because it's all life. But like your relationships with like your parents or your siblings can just mean so much more to you or be so different to you than maybe when you were a kid, like, you know?
Yeah, you get to learn a lot, or get to experience a whole new world whenever you like. Yeah, that maturation, whatever that is, that añejo effect of that sharpening, hardening, redefining, or refining
Yeah, I was trying
your
to think of
consciousness,
like
your attention.
yeah, that's nasty.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is
It's
super cool.
trippy.
So that's one thing is the reason I want to tell people that is because I think we're like afraid to grow up, right? Or like when you're a kid, like you want to grow up but you don't want to be old.
Hmm.
And then there's like some kind of like middle ground. Once people turn like 25, some people are like, I don't like celebrate a birthday. What am I supposed to do? Celebrate myself getting older? Like I'm not trying to get old. I don't want to be old.
Yeah, I get that energy from people sometimes when I like, oh, it's your birthday. They're like, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah, another one, another time. Here it is.
saying? So
It's like it's awesome. Come on.
I saw this. Did you see the TikTok that was like increasingly masculine ways to tell your bros happy birthday?
No.
It's so funny, bro. I'll just remember a couple of them. He's like, another bucket on Father Time. Nice start, my G. It's like, congratulations on your annual uh, trip around the sun, my friend.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, they're lit though. It's really funny. There's going to be a way, maybe I'll post it like onto our website or onto our Instagram or onto our group chat. Shit we talk about on the pod.
Hell yeah. Pot thoughts.
Regardless, some people don't be liking their birthdays. No kizzy.
It's a weird energy. But yeah, I guess there's something there to not
It's
wanting to get
dope.
old. But I guess I guess maybe it's also because inextricably, maybe subconsciously related to time. We know that that's like where we go to die. You know what I'm saying? On a deeper note, it's like a little closer, a little closer.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe just dying is scary.
Yeah, it's a scary thing.
I think what I'm trying to say is that
True
like I
unknown.
think we're afraid to lose our youth, but if you do it tastefully, it's an appreciable experience. Like if you live life to the fullest and kind of max it out, and you're at least putting so much on yourself on the line that you don't really have a lot of regrets, like that feeling of like no regrets, like
No regrets.
yeah, like you really put it on. Like I think my high school basketball coach would always say like if we put it all out there, if we literally leave it all out there, like win, lose or draw, I don't care. Like let the chips fall where they're gonna fall. Like we don't have a lot of control, but just like I'll be happy with you guys. Like we can sleep good tonight if we fucking try to wear them out. Like if we go crazy
Yeah.
and you leave it all out there. And I just feel like that's like I think he was saying that because as an adult, it just makes sense to me. It's like that's all you can do is try your hardest and try your best, and then. Like it's so cool because trying your best kind of sucks because like it's hard to always be trying your best. And like how do I cope with that as a person is like Christianity is about kind of at its root like just trying to become sanctified. Like just trying to try your best. Like at the end of the day like I know if I can do rep 10 or like if I told myself I was going to fail before I really gave myself a chance to actually try to do it. I can like feel that line and I feel myself spend the whole workout getting right to that line where the inner bitch is just strong enough to maybe take over for a second and make me not win that domino effect. And like that became like 6-7 months of me working out was just fighting this thing, not even like the whole program that I was doing. It's like get yourself to that point, and then beat that voice that wants to tell yourself I don't really have this.
Don't attempt it.
Yeah, that's the
Don't
thing.
Don't do it.
And then
It's like, no, I'm fucking doing it.
yeah,
I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking going out like that.
dude, for real. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you have to do. I think turn on that savage. I think that's what. It drops a lot of testosterone. I don't know if that's what testosterone is, but I'm just like, ugh. That's what I like associate it with.
That makes sense.
Turn that T switch up, like
Flip it.
yeah, let's compete with myself. But no, but in reality, which is kind of cool, just since I'm kind of like spinning that gospel stuff right now.
Let's go.
Legitimately in the gym to beat that thing, I have to like I thought of Philippians 4:13, which is such a stereotypical like verse to throw out there, which is like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'll just get to that 10th rep that I can't really do, the one where that voice wants to be like, you're gonna fail. And I've seen myself fail, but I had it, but I failed. But why? Because I could have had it, but I'd already decided that I didn't have it. And I was just like, I can do all things. Or like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that was good. That's literally gone through my head before while I'm like at that point, and then I lock out the rep, and like I'm like, man, thank God I got that extra boost. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that's to me that's a representation of Christianity. Is like you don't. It's all on you, and your natural presupposition would be probably to fall short or to like sin, which just means to like miss the mark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Natural presupposition to miss the mark, and you gotta ask for help. and then it's cool because it's there.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
But anyways,
It's all about that. That's that shit right there.
yeah, facts. But we're talking
It
about that.
translate, and it's all, we're also talking about like losing your youth, being afraid of that. But also, I think it's also like important, or there's a balance to it. You should also keep some of the youthful aspects of life, like the wonder and like the laughter and the somewhat silly nature and ease of it. But also, you need to get some bucks when it's time to get some bucks, dog. Like when we're fucking around in the locker room, we'll fuck around in the locker room. But like when the whistle blows,
Yeah,
we're fucking.
we gotta go.
My balls are on the wall. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what's going on.
yeah. That's like
Yeah, it's cool to have or be able to flip that switch because we have like the nature of our job is like we're talking like it's a big watering hole social environment, but then also we have to like turn it on for the guests and like action. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, be nasty.
Mm-hmm. Spit some bars on them, dog.
Be great actors.
Be nasty.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Like it's crazy how much sometimes I'll be blowing my own mind with how I'm riffing with people, and I'm just like, it's cool. Like it's all. That's why I feel like your story's so dope because I need to be able to rap, and like you can write raps for sure, but that's like its own skill set. It's like being a poet. It's like being a writer, but you want to write lines and stanzas. But like to sometimes like in my mind I found this new thing that's just like rapping. Like I think that's what Jay-Z and Lil Wayne, they just get in the studio and rap, bro. And like the reason they're able to freestyle verses, like I'm like half full stat of a thing that they're full stat on. Because Alive was pretty much freestyled in studio. Miss You, the song we just did, that was pretty much freestyled in the studio. But like there's a difference when you just catch that wave and you just feel like 8 bars of magic. Like, bro, that should be rocking. Like, I don't think I could sit there and write that because you got to be in the moment, right?
Yeah.
It's like I even have to move my body in the studio. Like, I got to catch the groove and like R&B freak, got me till it out. Like, where does that come from? You just got to rap that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just feel it.
Yeah, bro.
Yes, bro. I feel that 100%. Because yeah, I don't really write either. I kind of just like have it all in my head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but go on, tell me.
It's just like whenever I typically do it when I'm driving. It's like usually the most common place where I'm writing or creating music or thinking about bars. It's either when I'm driving or in the gym when I'm like running, doing cardio, or even sometimes I will just like sit down and like try to create bars for an hour or whatever, just sitting down in my room smoking or listening to the beat over and over again. But either way, I'm just listening to the beat over and over again in all those scenarios. And then I'm just like kind of like throwing shit out there and seeing what sticks, thinking of different rhythms. And then sometimes like I'll have a coinciding moment where I'll have like a rhythm or a flow or a cadence. And then I'll have like a matching syllable. Like with those syllables, I'm able to put words to those syllables and kind of like match the two. And sometimes I'll have like just words, and sometimes I'll have just the rhythm. But then sometimes I'm able to like do like both over the instrumental. The more I listen to it, I'm just like, I don't know. But I don't write them down. You know what I'm saying? I could, but like sometimes I would do whenever I'm trying to like expedite the process, maybe, and try to get it out of my head and get it onto reality. And then from there, maybe whenever it's in reality, I'm able to see it a little more clearly or add to it a little bit more, and it like kind of writes itself a little bit, you know?
Yeah, that's fire. Yeah, you've written 3 or 4 songs in a day before.
Yeah,
and they
I was thinking about that.
Like they were great.
Way back in the day.
Sometimes I want to do that now. I just want to go get 5 hours in the studio and
just
be like,
sit down for 9 hours.
Yeah, put that bitch on loop for a second. We're going like, yeah. The artist process is
turn it on.
Super lit, but turn it on. But also just I brought up all of that.
What are you talking about?
I brought up Christianity because I was talking about my meta strategy for doing your best, because doing your best every day is difficult. But I feel like Christianity provides this leeway of like you have to constantly ask for like forgiveness and constantly ask for like atonement, but like what's the thing you do where you're like I fucked up, but repent? I don't. Yeah, you have to. It's a gateway for repent. Like I think that all humans could do with some repentance. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like that.
We always miss the mark.
Yeah.
It's damn near impossible to hit a perfect bullseye every second of every day with your entirety, with all your thought and being. It's like, damn, that's a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Every moment to be like perfect. It's like, You're not going to be. No one is. No one can hit the mark every single time perfectly forever. You're going to fuck up. You're going to miss the mark.
Jesus was sinless, so Jesus never missed the mark.
That boy was getting bucks.
Like you never saw.
Like you never seen it.
Like no one's ever seen it. For real though, like.
I was thinking about that in regards to like if you were seeing in action like someone getting bucks beyond belief. Like someone like watching Jordan in their prime and then talking to somebody who's born in the next like 20 years or so.
Yeah.
Someone who's like never seen it and only knows the game for what it is whenever they see the game. And it's like you can't there's like a disconnect there even whenever I'm like telling you about all of Jordan's highlights. If I can't show them to you, you know? Like there's no like video per se of the BC times. So it's like just getting bucks, but like it's just you're not gonna be able. You have to believe me. You have to like have that faith, like that blind faith. That's like taking my word for truth. You know, if I saw him getting the bucks, I was like telling you about it. It's like you'll never really truly know unless you or kind of just have to choose to believe. So like even if you did see, let's say you did see like Jesus doing his thing, getting some bucks, and like you're trying to tell other people about it, it's like you wouldn't really care to a degree if they believed you or not, because you're just like I know, like you know what I'm saying, like I get it. Like,
yeah.
Like I'm doing my best to explain these things.
It could be a lot to, who knows, right? Because let's say back in those times, like people were like politically aligned. So what if your like daughter is super liberal in like ancient Israel, right? And like there's like political and religious strife with like the Pharisees and stuff like that, and King Augustus, or I'm trying to think of who the king was that sentenced Jesus to death. Pontius Pilate. He was the governor of the state. And just like thinking about it like real time, you know what I'm saying? I think that maybe like you might be like, yo, I'm telling you, Jesus is the Messiah. Like we need to stop and just follow this guy because like I seen a miracle. Like I think people would get emotionally tied into maybe preaching that gospel. Because there's some people, like you said, you'd be like, I'm following Jesus. Like, kid, do what you want. Okay, I saw 10,000 people get fed just now with like 2 fishes and 2 loaves. Like,
see this?
That's way better than dunking from the free throw line. Like, witness literally a miracle. Like those kids that filled up the vessels until they didn't have any more vessels. And out of like one jug, like infinite oil for a second, God like Jesus performed a miracle for them too. Anytime that a miracle went down for real. Like, that's it's insane. Because it's a story about a guy who just is like, God's amazing. Why do you guys not think God's amazing? Watch, be amazed.
Bucks City.
And I don't know if sometimes I take from the Bible that that's like what sinless energy can do in this matrix. Like Jesus was perfect, more or less. And if you were just like actually truly perfect, then you could like perform miracles. And like sometimes you gotta like be as good as you can be so that you attract the best life that you could have, which would be miracle-esque for you for sure. If you got your dream house,
it'd be miraculous to you.
Oh yeah. Like Drake, for instance, used to sit on the hill and look at the house that he wanted to buy for like ever, right? And then imagine like doing that in your life, like the car you always wanted to have, and it's like you have it, or like the family you always imagined, and then also you have like a beautiful family. You know what I'm saying? What else? What kind of miracles do you want?
Yeah,
You know.
What do you need?
Yeah, well, I think that's, for me, that's what would make me happy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Miracles.
But that's a meta way for trying to do your best, because trying to do your best like every day.
You believe in miracles? Is that like that's like another base, right? Of like religious or like spirituality? Miraculous?
Yeah.
Like the supernatural?
I just, right? I don't know if it's a future song or a past song, but I just hear you going, do you believe in the miracle? I don't know how you do it, but dog.
Believe in the miraculous?
That's hard as fuck.
That's a hard word. Yeah, that's a good one.
Dude.
Yeah, do you believe that things can, I don't know. I think that's a big basis too.
Yeah, because like Miracle on 34th Street, like there's a lot of movies about somebody believing in a miracle, holding the line,
a miracle,
praying on their knees, praying for it,
the impossible thing.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that
we all want that.
Come on,
yeah,
aren't you a human?
Yeah, we're all dealing with impossible things that seem impossible.
Yeah, like they said in, I mean, this.
based on our limited scope.
Why were we talking about trying to do our best every day? Because that's all you have, right? All you have is
Mm.
doing your best. Okay, so if you're doing life like that, in my opinion, like you kind of like get the most out of life out of every stage. So like if you can enjoy your
Yeah.
youth and then you can be ready to go to college and then you can be ready to get that first job and then you could be ready to climb that corporate ladder. And then all of a sudden you find yourself, like with a long-term partner and now you got the Escalade. But like all of a sudden you're like 35 with the Escalade with the partner. Don't be freaking out on me now. Like life is enjoyable at that stage too, I think. That's the thing. Like you
Don't be
gotta,
freaking out on me.
yeah. People getting this. You gotta stay in the cut. Like you gotta
That
ride that
midlife
wave.
crisis.
Something happens there, bro. Like
Yeah, what is that?
I seen it with. I have like 6 to 7 scientific examples right now of that. I've been running this viewership for like 3 years
Okay.
of men when they turn 50,
50. Got
and
it.
at 50, definitely something happens. You either something I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe because the health really starts to become a thing. Where you're like, oh fuck, like.
Mm.
I am not the physical being that I used to be. But I ain't going out like
I ain't going out like
I ain't
that.
going out like that. So you gotta like cope with that somehow. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a real present factor on your brain.
Mm-hmm.
That
Couple,
seems to be
couple
part of
100,000 miles on this vehicle.
You know what I'm
Couple
saying?
100,000 miles on it.
I hope you were changing the oil the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Good oil. Full synthetic.
Lucas oil.
Mm-hmm. Lucas.
Yeah,
Whatever
bro.
the fuck the best oil is. Pennzoil, I don't know.
Lucas Oil Stadium is a cold
There we go.
stadium.
Fuck 'em.
That's why I like it.
Hang it. Something happens though.
Something be happening because I'm like, because it's hard. It's hard. Like I have anxiety about the future. I have FOMO. Like I think those are natural things. Like you're worried. You're worried about your next move, and you're worried you didn't make the best past move, and you're trying to win this game really bad. So I'm really emotionally invested in my moves. But like,
Yeah.
uh, I'm saying there's like this wave where sometimes like, yeah, me and Grace's relationship is so enjoyable now. It's like a good meal. Like we're at BJ's and the Pizookie comes out. That's a real Texas thing. If you know, you know.
I was gonna say those terms are probably gibberish to a lot of people.
We're at a local restaurant that does like a cookie and a
Dessert.
pizza pan dessert, and it's my sister's birthday.
Delicious.
They smack. We get our Pizookie, and I take one bite of this brownie Pizookie with chocolate chunks and whipped cream and a little bit of ice cream melting over the cover. It's got a crisp outside and a soft inside. Get that thing right up in the spoon. And the first fucking thought that I have after I'm like, oh my god. I come back to reality and I think to myself, I wish I had a whole one of these that I didn't have to share with Grace in this social setting. I wish I was lying in my bed with this Pizookie without any of the ice cream so I could just eat it like that. And I don't know why. I was like, that's some fucked up shit, bro. Like,
What the hell?
yeah, I don't know. But
Oh my
it's somehow
God.
tied into like, I was like, this Pizooki's gonna end. I'm not gonna get as much of it as I want to enjoy.
I can eat a whole one of these by myself. Easy.
Come back to this Pizookie and share it with Grace.
Oh my gosh.
My eyes are bigger than my stomach. I'm worried. There's like a fear of missing out on satiation. I'm not sure what it is, bro. I couldn't even finish it. You know what I'm saying? By the time I had 4 or 5 bites, I was like, oh, I'm full.
I'm done.
I'm still full from that meal, bro. Like, but I think what I'm saying is maybe it's just me, but I get all these. Like, you ever?
It's hilarious.
Grace told me that Hozier was gonna play.
Who?
Hozier,
Who's that?
Hozier. He's an artist.
Hozier. Okay.
And
Artist.
his most popular hit is "Take Me to Church, I worship
that's
like a
that guy?
dog."
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that's his song?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's tight.
So Grace has tickets to go see that guy, and I'm like, yo, I want fucking tickets just for that song. I'll wait in line. I'll do the concert.
Take me to church.
I bet that song goes nuts live with like
Mhm.
10,000 people around you. Yeah, I was down.
I'm down.
Right, right.
That sounds cool.
And like then the first thought that hit me though, I got to that point and I'm like, oh man, that song would only be like 3 minutes long and I'd be so sad afterwards. I'd be like, oh man, can we just do it again? Can we please do that song
Run
again?
it back.
Yeah, please.
Run it back.
And he just moves on his catalog. He's like, I got way bigger hits. Like, I got songs I like way more. I'm just sick of that song. I heard that song 10,000 times. I didn't even like that song
I hate
when I
that
wrote
song.
it. Yeah, bro.
That happens. That's unfortunate.
But that's that nature. I like instantly destroyed this. I was so excited. I was like, I'll do all the things for this thing. Heartbreak, because it's gonna end eventually. And I think that it's whatever that thing is in me. That's like I have a natural predisposition to like ruin the thing in front of me because I'm worried it's gonna end, or because I don't think there's enough, or because the social setting in which I'm supposed to enjoy it in makes it less enjoyable than it would be if I were to enjoy it in the privacy of whatever constraints I want to be in. All of that shit's like neuroticism and dealing with life. And the neuroticism makes you be like looking in all these different directions than like just right in the middle where you're supposed to.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's what happens to some people. Those things like take over the fucking narrative. They take over the dominance force. They're more worried about something than they are enjoying the something. And that festers for years, and then you're like 40, and it's like you're not enjoying your 40s.
Yeah, spending or
I don't know though.
refiring that synapse of, I guess, worry, or not firing the synapse of like that enjoyment and just present moment, chilling. We're good. Because yeah, I guess there's always something you could be worried about. Always something you could like look into or dive into mentally. That's in your life somewhere, or something that you could worry about. Your health is a big one for sure. All kinds
Go
of
to the
shit.
gym. I mean, it's not
All kinds of
everything.
shit.
I'm worried about my health too, and I still go to the gym.
Yeah, whatever it is. People like worrying about something. Or
It's
you
like-
can. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
you
saying?
almost
At any
should.
moment you can. Yeah, there's an appropriate amount of, because if you don't, I guess if you're not like nervous and like, or like you don't care, kind of like that saying. But you definitely need to, or because this shit's important.
Yeah.
It's important to do your best because you have to try. You have to do something. You have to spend time.
That's true.
You have to spend time.
You
You're
don't have to
here.
try.
You're in the game. It's going. It's going.
Yes, I agree.
It's happening.
So that's the thing about life is also it's happening.
It's happening.
That's like more of a if right now I just saw it as like it's a constraint. Like if you don't play, then the game gets out of hand on you, and then you can like
really easy.
jump back in and like have a new narrative, and there's always a way for you to like get back in the river of life and start like
Blossoming, yeah, like
yeah,
blooming,
yeah,
like flourishing,
right.
yeah.
That was so sick. You just went into my brain and pulled out.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it, and you found it.
I
I was
saw
like,
it.
oh, you're nasty. So true, bro. So like,
Always,
but yeah, time is going, and yeah, I don't know, man.
it's happening.
I think that's why it makes me sad when people aren't enjoying their birthday because they're turning like 40, 41, 42, and they're like obviously wish they were still young, or they're like, man, fuck the aging process. That's their attitude. They don't always verbally say that, but it's something along those lines. Like, I don't like this growing up shit, or I don't want to have to be old. Why? I think for me, that's how I'm gonna define like having lived a good life. Is that like I want to enjoy the 30s and enjoy the 40s and enjoy the 50s, enjoy the 60s, and maybe when I'm 60, I'll be like, dude, I can't. When I was 29, bro, I wish I could go back there so bad. But I think you're doing something wrong if you think that.
Or that maybe, yeah. Maybe it's like, of course you do. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's okay. It's like a true thing to or empathize with that thought. I was like, yeah, youth is nice, but I think there's if you do it too much, or if you do it to the degree at which you're kind of disrespecting or disregarding where you're at now, it's like now is always perfect, or it's always what I'm saying, it's always beautiful.
It's the one
You can always enjoy it, yeah. Enjoy the now for sure. It's like, man, those are some good days. I was fucking pumping out some shit.
Dude.
I was pushing some fucking plates around.
I mean, I'm pushing this perspective into the narrative right now with us, but like I was just thinking the other day, when I was 16, I spent the summer at my mom's house,
Okay.
which is like was kind of crazy. I was thinking about how it's crazy to live with my dad for all the school year, and then to get to the summer and they're like, all right, because we have this like agreement through the court system, we're like obligated to send you to your mom's house for the summer. That's not how they put it to me, you know what I'm saying? But like that's what happened. That was the constraint. Like
That's the nature.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
like unavoidable. That was definitely going to happen in my story because of their story. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Okay. Yeah.
So then I end up at my mom's house, and that was just like one of the best summers ever. I spent all day playing basketball with you. And then when I wasn't playing basketball with you, my mom was working from home in her office, and I just played Red Dead Redemption until I got bored, and then I watched House. There was like a House marathon all summer on this one channel. So
Nice.
I could just watch like
All summer.
3 to 5 episodes of House, like in order, like Netflix esque almost, where it's like 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was just sick, bro. And by the end of the summer, I had seen like a couple seasons of House, and I had beat Red Dead Redemption, and I'd balled all summer, and it was just sick, bro. And
What a summer.
right, bro.
What a summer, kid.
I was like, man, it couldn't have been any better.
Man.
Like, what a life.
Jeez.
Just waking up
I had it.
whenever I wanted. You know what I'm saying? No obligation.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Well,
yeah, like in teenage years, how old? Like high
16.
school? Yeah, 16.
And I just got in a car so I could drive. Shit
Oh.
like that. Yeah.
Balling out
Yeah.
of fucking control.
That's. I had the thought like
Can't be stopped.
I might want to go back and like relive that summer. Like I'm gonna go play Roy in my own life.
Yeah. What a summer. Was that when we get to when we saw Jay-Z and Kanye? Or was that later?
I think that's when we were 18.
I think we saw I think that was later actually. I think was I in college?
I think you were a freshman,
Yeah, I think I was in college at that point.
but it was spring break.
I can't remember. Yes, I was actually. I remember now. For
Nice.
sure.
Yeah, it was spring break, so I think you were home.
Bam. Crazy. But
So-
yeah, either
so
way,
cool.
great summer. That's what's up.
So even to myself, I'm like, I got kind of sad. I was like, man, I don't know if I'll ever fucking have a dope life 6 months that hit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That was a streak. That was a fucking streak. We went on
And
unprecedented run.
yeah, it was awesome. What a great summer. But then it hits me like, okay, so I'm watching like Finding Nemo, and it takes me back to like my kindergarten through 5th grade. This like house that we lived in. That was like my parents moved to Texas in kindergarten. Then they split up right before I went to middle school. But we had a 5-year run. Whew. We were like really living like a family.
We had a
It
run.
was fucking awesome. Okay, so I had this like what I describe as like a premium childhood experience from ages like 5 to 10, and like I was reminiscing and thinking about how like sweet those times were, and like basically just missing my youth to some degree.
Mhm.
And then I thought about how we had another premium experience from like basically ages 15 to 18 when my mom got a new house with my stepdad, and they were really like high functioning. I mean, who's high functioning all the time, but she was great. We had like
Mhm.
a lot of love in that home, and it was another premium experience. So my mom, like in her story, went out of premium experience, regrouped, pushed for more premium experience, recreated, and then she was basically like, yeah, you can like I guess she told my sister, you get as many tries as you're willing to try. Like you're the one that stops trying. It's not like you run out of like attempts at like love or a life or a home or a job or a career. Like as many times as you're willing to get up for it, like that's how many tries you get. And I was like, that's fucking hard. Can
Let's
I get that
go.
on an intro?
Let's go.
But all of that to say, like, there's a lot of reasons why I feel like we get kind of like scared out of enjoying where we're at right now. Even myself,
Mm.
I'm like reminiscing on these times. I'm like, dude, those times weren't that long ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when living with Grace, when I moved back to San Marcos and I was training for the marathon and driving to Saltgrass, and when I was hanging out with her, I was like, man, that was such a like great span of life. I was streaming a little bit here and there. We were
Yeah.
fucking Warzone was out. We were dominating. Like, such a fucking dope era. I wrote New Era in that era. That's like one of my favorite songs that I've written. Shit just slapped, and like, fucking, we were balling. We're balling.
Balling out of control.
It's hard to appreciate it when you're in it. It's such a
Yeah.
crazy thing. It wasn't even that long ago.
It's just a washing machine.
Yeah.
It's like I was just thinking about that scene in The Office where I think it's Andy. He's like, someone should write a song about the good old days, like enjoying the good old days when you're in them before they become the good old days. He's like, I wish someone would tell you that they're the good old days before they're over.
Yeah.
He's just like, someone should make a song about that.
When he says that, it hits you in your heart. You're like, oh man, it's so true.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the best scenes from The Office, I think.
Mm-hmm. Just beautiful, man.
Yeah. So,
Beautiful.
but I'm telling you, I'm preaching this gospel right now. I feel really like inclined in my heart to like
Yeah.
push this message out. That like,
Maybe it's just a nature. Maybe it's just like a inherent thing that we have to deal with.
yeah,
Like the fleeting nature of reality, or the fleeting nature of anything, of everything,
yeah, the nostalgia
perception.
and the memory of a good experience.
through this human perception.
Mm.
It seems like I guess we do die. These humans do die for sure. That happens. What happens beyond that is like the great mystery, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically, who knows? Who really knows? For sure. But I guess there is a kind of a maybe kind of attached nature to the life and the death that comes with it. Everything is kind of fleeting.
Yeah.
But you can enjoy everything, or like at any given moment.
That's the thing about this añejo process. I'm like, you get to a point where like you're cool with that. Like that sits well with you, and like something about the rhythm of life, like you can be on beat with it. It's like the song keeps going forever. I can't ever like, oh my gosh. It's like, but just get on beat with it. And you gotta like be able to like expect and let go and be cool with like this part of it. And within that there's its own magic. Like there's its own thing there there's more cake inside the cake.
Yeah.
It's really there.
Yeah. It's like surrendering. You know what I'm saying? To a degree. At least in the idea of surrendering your attachment to the current moment. It's like in general. You know? It's like whatever God's will be done. And try to enjoy the whole thing.
That's Keys to Inner Peace with Justin Sullivan right there, bro. Clip that. That's beautiful, man. Yeah. There's a lot that goes along with that, man. Because, like, yeah, discipline is freedom. Yeah, surrender to the discipline, too. Like, just, it's like, because you can't just surrender. This would be me, like, I'm 100% surrender. Like, literally.
I'm out. I'm, like, on the ground, sprawled out, dog.
Never leaving this spot. You know what I'm saying? And eventually dying there, probably. Like, that's full surrender. So, like, ultimately, like, I have to also have discipline in there because, like, discipline is freedom. But surrender also feels like it's, like, freedom, too, somewhere in there. You know? There's some kind of attachment to that.
Yeah. It's like floating, you know? Or just, like, I'm on.
You know, like, ghost mode hacks?
Yeah, it's just, like, I'm going to be carried, like, through this this river.
Yeah.
It's going to float through it.
It's like floating out of quicksand. It's like running in place.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, you're getting yourself more stuck or whatever.
Yeah.
Freaking out. But yeah, I think it's like, yeah, like maybe the combination of the surrenderance and then also the surrendering to the discipline, which is like the creative order and structure. Or maybe one of the key stats and traits that lead to order and structure. So if you're able to have the ability to build with order and structure through discipline, and then also the surrenderance of it's like the moment, and like the the dead the ragdoll nature of surrendering, she's like to the fullest degree. I'm just like out, just no musculature involvement whatsoever, just ragdoll, dead weight, just being carried through life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like ultimate lack of form and structure. And then like form and structure.
Yeah.
But both of them have like maybe the commonality of what's like surrendering, like bowing to it to a degree, like giving it power, give respect. What is like surrendering to an idea or surrendering to something. It's like giving up your will. Not giving up your will.
Yeah, I was saying letting it consume you
to
the fullest degree.
Yeah, like I give up. No outward energy expenditure. It's like I'm just floating. Yeah, just open to anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe surrendering abstractly to what, you know what I'm saying? It's like ideas, behaviors. What do you bow to?
Shit's hard, bro. Yeah, it's like worship almost. It's
yeah.
And sometimes I think it's your own will that's in the way more that you're not surrendering. You know what I'm saying? In this actual, I keep thinking about it like a king surrendering a castle. So it keeps populating my mind when you're like describing this, like ultimately being willing to like not put up a fight against like your whatever God would tell a king. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's a nature of a king, I guess, to like own everything and to be the decision maker, and then there's like a power trip involved with that, or like some kind of nature to think that you have to have this perspective that no one else has, and you got to make sure you're making the right move for your like country more or less. But like then if God tells you to do something, then like can you put that away to do that? You know what I'm saying? Can you sacrifice your own will?
Yeah. Can you surrender your own will to whatever you think God, your interpretation of what God's telling you to do.
And to do that would, I mean, it's crazy. If
It's crazy.
It is like worship or consumption or like, who do you bow to? This is. I like looking at it from all the angles.
Yeah, I guess that also comes into the play of the question, like, how do people interpret their own inner dialogue? Or, like if they were to
go on
receive message, or like you can't maybe like, or any sort of form of communication with God, it's going to come through your life and your interpretation of thought and tangible reality. So like your perception of what's going on, it's like how do we people have their own thought of what they're thinking about, or like their own thought of how things play out and their own relationship and the idea and sort of understanding of what God is, or like what is generating this whole experience. Everyone thinks something about God. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Whether it's religious, they have a religious affinity, or they are agnostic or atheist or Scientologist or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. We all have to deal with or think about
existence.
What's going on? Yeah. What's going on here, y'all?
Did you ever ask
anyone know?
On the playground as a kid, be like, what? Do you believe in God? I believe in God. I believe in God too, but I'm just saying, like, there's no way we could really like know. What do you mean you can't know? I'm like, I'm just saying here. Mm. I remember these conversations as a kid.
Really?
Yeah. We're trying to figure out what's going on here.
What the hell's happening?
So a bunch of kids on a playground. Some of them are like, "The fuck is this, bro? We're in school right now.
How did we get here?"
Yeah.
Oh, just asleep.
Do you think there's a heaven?
Something like that, right? Yeah. What happens after we die?
Yeah, right. That's the question.
That's a big one.
Yeah. That's the question you're asking as a kid. You might say just like, is there a heaven? But I think that's the root question is like, is this everything? Mm-hmm. When I die, is this over?
Yeah. What happens when we die? How did we get here at all? And what happens when we leave?
Yep.
There's like the two questions that we're all dealing with on like a subconscious level.
Right.
Everyone's dealing with. And just through my own, I'm going to throw my idea out there. I'll spitball. And I think that, like the thing that generated the entirety of like even the possibility of this happening, the possibility of us having experience, that came from somewhere. Something is responsible for this. Like someone made this. I think Cat Williams said it or expressed it in a way on the Joey Rogue show, where he's like, to say there's no like creators, to say that there's like no one created these cameras or this TV or this sofa. Like, what do you mean? Of course someone created it. Like, it's right. Like, what are you talking about? It's right here.
Yeah, I like that sentiment. It's not like a proof, because it's like, I could see scientists, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, like just the way the universe,
abstractly, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, 100%. Like your oxygen and lungs and trees and carbon dioxide.
Yeah, whatever,
like, bro.
Whatever made that, whatever created this thing, whatever's going on there, I think it's also in your head. Like you have your own dialogue, and that thing also is in your head and populates you with ideas, and maybe helps steer emotions or steer. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I think there is influence. Yeah. I think really there's something there. I think there's something there. But then that's just like my own objective interpretation. So so it's like everyone else has their own. There's 8 billion other interpretations of what's going on here. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure a lot of us overlap in many of like,
what drives your interpretation?
Ideas.
Maybe you just don't want to look foolish. What if you're scared to believe in a God because you're afraid of being duped? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, to buy all into something.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, I got scammed. But with my life. Life scammed me. They soul scammed me.
They soul scammed you.
They soul scammed me.
Who wouldn't be afraid of that?
Fuck them. Yeah. That's rude. You soul scamming people. Fucking dicks.
Cults do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's literal soul scammers out there. It's crazy.
Just take your life.
Yeah, what drives our interpretation? That's part of the thing going on there.
Mm-hmm. People want control.
People do. Yeah,
people
that's
want control because
it's your fucking life.
It's like the opposite of surrender. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I ain't going down without a fight. I ain't going out with going out like that.
Yeah, no, I feel you. There's times where you need that.
It's my city.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%.
Sometimes it's your city. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the dame little game winner. At the buzzer beater. Flame spitter.
Trust people. Oh,
Oh.
yeah, no. Well, there's a fucking metric. What drives interpretation?
What drives interpretation?
I like that you said you're like, my objective reality is rooted in some of the stuff think about abstractly. And I was like, that's hard. That's super hard, actually. Because, yeah, scientists would think that you have to, like, be able to measure it. You can't measure the abstract.
You can't do it.
But that's, as a kid, or, like, someone who
We're
doesn't
trying.
want to be duped, there it was. Fucking,
Okay, that's what we're talking about.
yeah.
You don't want to be tricked or feel lied to.
Yeah, and you're like...
And be wrong.
The
the other thing.
scientific community is rooted in these things.
No one
What's
is
right.
wrong on purpose.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
you're right. Who would want to do that?
Idiots.
That's what I saw.
Not even idiots. That's what makes them idiots.
Yeah, I feel you.
So yeah, no one.
I feel you. I
No
feel
one
you.
wants to be wrong. No one's wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
Through their own conscious choice.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I'm thinking about it now. I'm expanding. That thought's like populating more things in my mind.
The next thought level that came to me is Sadhguru said there is no right or wrong. So it's like, is a wrong choice ever a wrong choice? It's like a person grows into the person they're gonna become, like a tree grows into a tree, and you don't ever tell a tree that it's growing wrong. It's just like growing. So like, to put negative connotation to anybody's like missing the mark is not Zen. That's what Sadhguru thinks.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to wrap your own mind around. Or like it's not like I apply that to my life every day. Just sometimes I'm like, there's no right or wrong.
He's going in.
Yeah, he's nuts. I don't know. He's really defensive when he talks though. Like on Joe Rogan, I feel like he had he was playing like lockdown defense on the conversation. I was like, why are you slapping the floor on Joe Rogan?
Joey Rogue.
It made me sus.
Yeah, I think I remember feeling some energy like that when I was listening to it. That was an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Back in the day, Joey Rogue.
Yeah. So, anyways, I feel like we can enjoy life at all phases.
Mm-hmm.
We can. We should.
Yeah, I don't know though. I'm not sure because I guess on one level I could see and empathize with the idea of there is no right or wrong, or like there is just like objective reality, or like life is just happening. But at the same time, I don't know. I do think there is like good and evil. You know what I'm saying? I guess because if with that sentiment of no right or wrong, there is no good and evil. Right? Is that kind of what he's saying? Because I think good and evil exist.
I think
so.
If I could predict what Sadhguru would say, he'd have different terms for them that were less like ultimate.
Polarizing.
Yeah, polarizing. He'd be like, "There's I don't know, people doing."
Yeah.
People doing what? People doing good. People
What
doing
is
evil.
it, Sod?
Yeah.
Tell me, Sod.
Yeah, dog.
Explain it to me, Sod.
Because it seems like if you are like willfully doing wrong on purpose,
I think there's common atrocities.
go off.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talk about it throughout.
Cruel and unusual things were happening.
Yeah, and in the Bible, it's like super similar to all of the cruel and unusual, like murder and robbery and like rape and like all that shit's like timeless. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The common atrocities for sure, because we're human. It's like part of the human experience to some degree.
Yeah. And
The nature of evil being in our story throughout time, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're describing?
something right? That sounds good. That sounds on the money to me. I don't know what Sadhguru would say about that, because I don't know. I can see it for both sides. I can see it, but I do just inherently. I think on a more foundational, deeper, more primary level, I think there's good and evil is what's going on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do too. I think you're trying to hit the mark. I think everybody wants to hit the mark. Who doesn't want to hit a bullseye? It's like in our nature to want to hit the bullseye. But there's like two forces out there to some degree. This is like the root of religion to some degree. It's like God calling us like forward and giving us a path and like trying to help us hit the bullseye, like a good coach. Sometimes it's like my fucking reference point. And then there's someone sitting next to you telling you that like, it would be more advantageous. You would enjoy life more. It would be easier. There's another way to do this, a simpler way to do this, and it involves just not playing the game of hitting the bullseye. Like, just, you don't have to do all that. Just a negative energy. Just kind of always trying to tell you some bullshit to like make you not lock in and play your best and like hit the target. And like just putting it like that, like it's crazy how we go from that to getting good and evil. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think anybody wants to be evil per se. Like I'm saying, who doesn't want to hit the mark? Like,
yeah, some people are just gonna grow into evil trees. Like they're just like predeterminedly gonna grow into evil trees.
I mean, it's abuse and trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes these people like that.
Mm-hmm. I think God could change the forest. You know what I'm saying? He could change the forest. He could make it a desert. He could do whatever.
Definitely.
Whatever metaphor you want.
Definitely. Some people say it takes a lot of time. But I'm like, the Holy Spirit can fucking. Plus, you gotta be working towards it, man. I don't know what people have been working towards their whole life. I've been trying to work on this statue of David I saw in my mind as a kid this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're
But,
still
like,
going. We're still pushing.
I'm getting close sometimes, but I feel like I've been working on it for 20 years. So I don't know what people have been working on. Maybe you find yourself like at a very whittled place mentally, and you need to have some like come to Jesus moments, or you need to have the Holy Spirit fill your temple. But fill it to what? Like, what's your maximum output of energy? Like, who are you? And maybe those blueprints are always inside of you, right? So maybe like, I'm like, do these people have like this elevated vision for themselves of who they would be? Like, do they have a Yugi or a Yu-Gi-Oh inside of their Yugi? You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Right, naturally. I think that's the nature of this thing.
Yeah, the ideal version of you.
Yeah, that exists. Like
The most Christ-like version of you.
yeah, the best timeline. You say like where
The you who's hitting. Just the you who's diff.
just crushing every
Diffy
day.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, being your unique version of yourself and enjoying the rewards and benefits of the DNA that's got you this far. Like everyone here is a superstar.
You're winners.
Yeah, facts.
We're
Like
winners.
your genes made it through fucking
We made
time.
it through the craziest of times. All of the time.
Yeah.
All of it. We made it through all of it. And here we are.
That's why it's like I think everyone is Neo in that sense. That's one reason why that's easier to like digest. It's like everyone's the one. Like we're all nasty. There's no way you got this far. You would have been not selected by nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're nasty, bro. I was
And
thinking about it. We're like divinity in disguise, bro. You know what I'm saying? For real. And our life is the alibi. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about that the other day on my walk. I was like, oh, that's hard. It's like I can't be
just let that
like,
sit.
I can't be the creator, or I can't be part of the divine. I'm just a human who's doing this day to day. I woke up in a bed, I walk, I have a body, all this stuff. It's like, oh, it's an alibi. You're both.
Dude, that's the hottest shit I've heard in a minute. That's harder than anything Drake put on his last album.
Oh,
That belongs on 8 a.m. in Charlotte.
yeah.
Divinity in disguise. And life is an alibi. Oh, crazy, dude.
Bars.
Yo, that's in there.
Yes, dog.
That's the thing.
You wanna wrap her down? Hit the gym?
Yeah, are you chilling? Do you want to go right now?
Yeah. Or I guess you're trying to get to work at 2?
Yeah. I was thinking we could leave around. Yeah, I guess we should shut it down. Any final
Hold her
thoughts?
down. Do your best.
Yeah, that's
Always the
what it
message
turned
here.
into.
That's 38 squad. Do your best.
Enjoy your birthday.
Enjoy your fucking birthdays,
Yeah.
bro. All of them. Enjoy all of them.
Seriously.
All of them. Yeah, I think there's you can find enjoyment throughout the entirety of your experience here. That's what we're here to do. We're here to, but it's like a fine line too. We're also here to. I think we're here to enjoy and here to learn more than anything.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah, enjoy
And the way you learn the best and the way you enjoy the best. My scientific life experience is by doing your best. Doing your best allows you to learn the most and enjoy the most, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah, you can enjoy a cold drink at the end of the night. That's you enjoy that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also like there's the enjoyment you can get from life can be like exponentially way greater if you just have like a good life. If like you're having that cold drink in like the place you want to have it at.
Yeah, like a cold drink after a hard day's work.
Yeah, right? Versus like things are falling apart and that cold drink is kind of an escape from your responsibilities, and like it's a different enjoyment level. You know what I'm saying?
Same exact item.
Yeah.
Same exact action.
Right.
What's the story though?
Yeah. Really, really. So what's the highest level? When you say enjoy life, I'm like, I think when you enjoy it like that, like try to. That's why you got to try your best so you can enjoy it maximally.
Yeah, the best movie, the best script, the best outcome.
Hell yes.
Let's go.
Push that P.
It. Push the P.
Come on.
Push the plates.
Gotta go.
We out here. We gotta go, baby. Oh yeah. Get it in. I love y'all. See you next time.
Bye.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might